I'm gonna leave the video chat up so that if for some reason YouTube decides bye-bye again, I can see us and I can go, guys, we're gone.
And I'll keep the Facebook. I'll keep an eye on the Facebook. I'm gonna delete the one that says error 404 not found.
Okay. All right, so you guys can see most of us. All of us? Everybody?
I think so.
I mean, I'm watching our YouTube right now, and it looks like we're all there. So yeah.
Okay.
So however you have it set up, Sam. If you have it set up in gallery view, then we're all there.
We're all there. I hate you, YouTube.
Huzzah!
My wine is here, guys.
And Facebook decides to fail on us at the same time because everybody's trying to stream. So I'm gonna do some research and see if there's a better method of doing this. Maybe I can host it through the website I own. All right, back to it. We have, I'm gonna try and do this the way I've got it streamed. There is ThermoCosplay Sidekick. That is her name, apparently. Thermo Sidekick.
Yeah, you're doing it right.
Over here, there's Brite Props over here. There is Jinx Cosplay here, and there is Ambrose Cosplay here.
I feel like Brady Bunch.
So, yeah. Hi, everybody. We're back. We're alive. And I'm watching a little tiny sliver of our video and seeing motion and making sure the motion remains. And I'm making sure that the end stream button doesn't turn into a canceled.
Oh gosh, I hope not.
Let's not do that. Okay.
We're having great luck.
If for some reason you guys see the stream end, please let me know. All I see is active stream. So, well, it's a good thing that I set our meeting to go a little longer tonight. All right, so Amber Brite Props was talking about how glorious she is and how she is a prop maker and not necessarily a professional cosplayer because that has other connotations associated with it that she's like, nope. Just to summarize.
It's just one of those things where people are like, oh, you're a professional cosplayer. I'm like, okay, let's be honest. There's only like 4 or 5 professional cosplayers in the world. The ability to make money off of cosplay and nothing else.
And sponsorships, like.
Yeah, like, yeah. I mean, A, getting sponsorships is hard, and B, like, they generally pay for that build and not like your food and your rent and stuff like that. So the whole professional cosplayer, like, that's a whole can of worms that I'm always kind of like, I'm a prop maker who also cosplays, and the cosplay is like my branding and advertising and my hobby. Like, I mean, there's nothing on this specific outfit that I am, doing in my store or anything like that. There's no props on this one. So this one's a for fun cosplay, essentially. So it's one of those things where I love when people love cosplay enough to want to make it a vital part of their life. But I'm always like, you have to actually think about where your revenue stream comes from, because trust me, you don't make enough off of just print sales to, live and to do everything that you want to do. So it's always a question of where's your money actually going to come from? Because it's not going to come from the cosplay. Like, I tell you that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, it's so
there you go. Steve is back. You're still missing your little antenna, though.
I think I'll play around with it. I want background, but
be careful though. You might get us blocked again. It could have been background.
I'm pretty sure it was you, Sam.
I'm
pretty sure it was you. It's your fault.
We don't know what YouTube is copyrighted and what they blocked, so no labels.
So I'm not using one either. I was thinking about using one when I went to go get my beverage, but then I was like, ooh, I don't want to be the one that causes it this time.
We actually couldn't find because we're staying in my husband a cabin, and we couldn't find the wine bottle opener. I'm like, oh my god, crap! And I was like, okay, well, give me a beer. I was like, wait, no, I can't. Trouble.
Just drink it like I've been. Woo,
I poured mine into a glass only because I didn't want the logo on there, just in case.
But yeah, the topic about branding and marketing, I know I just said, like professional cosplayer is not a thing, but every cosplayer needs to think about branding and marketing whether you're a hobbyist or you do want to make it full time. Because if you want to increase your reach, if you want to grow, if you want to have partnerships with other people, if you want to have sponsorships, if you want to do this as anything more than just a page that you put your cosplay on, you've got to think about your marketing and your branding.
Yeah,
Like,
for us, even we found that by having cards and having branding, that something so simple as, you know, random photographers in the con have taken pictures of us that we loved, and we only got a hold of those pictures because whenever they took our picture, we always handed out a card and said, would you tag us? And then we got that tag and ended up getting that picture, and some of them ended up being really good pictures. So even if you're not doing anything else, just to get a hold of the pictures and have people show you what pictures they've taken of you later.
100%. If you want to see the pictures you take at a con, you should be passing out business cards.
Yeah, and
they're not a huge investment.
Like you're talking about like passing out business cards. I'm just interrupting. I apologize.
No, it's fine.
But the thing about that too is you end up finding, like, if you pass it to photographers, you end up finding really good photographers too. And I mean, I've had photographers that I actually, because I don't remember the names because I see so many hundreds of people at a convention, that I handed a card off to, and they contact me 2 months later and they're like, oh my gosh, I really wanted to work with you. And I'm like, what? I'm just little Sam. Like, what?
Yeah.
So like sometimes your cosplay speaks for itself, and then it sticks in their head, and they're like, oh gosh, I know, I saw them, and they find that card, and you're like, it's this person.
Yeah. And as a photographer, if you take a really cool picture of a Grandmaster cosplay, like, how do you then find that cosplayer? Do you go and Google Grandmaster cosplayer? Like, you're not going to have any luck with that.
No.
So if it's a lot of times, I mean, some photographers will take a picture with your, like, or write it down or whatever, but a lot of times it falls on the cosplayer to make sure that it is your photographers that you work with can find you again, or just people in general. Like, if you meet somebody who's really cool and loves the same weird French cartoon that you like you want to be able to reach them again, and marketing and branding yourself is how you do that. So, like, you don't have to spend little hours thinking about this, but every cosplayer should consider, how do you get people back to you?
I just want to take a quick break because I think, Liz, did you introduce yourself yet? You came in late. You did?
Yeah, Sam did.
Oh, I missed it. I'm sorry.
You were getting your wine.
That makes sense. I'm sorry. Okay, good.
It was an important job. Yes, I see you.
So I wanted to show, I actually don't have, I thought I had a business card with me, but I mean, you know, you can make it as you know, detailed or as simple as you want. When we say business cards, it doesn't even have to really be business cards. You know, it can be anything. If you want to just print your handle out on pieces of paper and hand that out, if that's all you can do, or, you know, it's in your budget right now, like, don't go and spend hundreds of dollars on business cards, you know, at least not yet. Like, obviously, if you're going to take this more seriously down the line, then you can look into it. But right now, just, you know, something that people can contact you with or find you on the internet with. Like I said, you can just print maybe like one picture of yourself, like, multiple times in your, you know, Instagram handle or whatever. So don't think that, oh my God, I don't have a budget for business cards yet because I just started cosplay. Never.
We have a question about the cards. Do you build a card holder into your cosplays? Sometimes.
I do as much as possible. Yeah. And sometimes that card holder is boobs. And sometimes it's actually
that's my card holder. That's her. That's my card holder. She's over here for me.
My card holder is just off the screen there, but and going back to Jess's point about the cards is, I have a friend, Amber, who cosplayed Jolteon, and she wrote her contact information on the inside of her shield. So, like, you take a picture with her, and then she just show the back of her shield, and you could take a picture of her contact information. So you don't even need to do cards. Like, if you build it into your cosplay to have your information somewhere.
Actually, that's a good point too, because a lot of people do that. Just like, can I just take a picture of something instead of holding up the cards? Especially with, I think with the younger generations, they're really into that. So that's another way you can do it too. Yeah, definitely any way you can save money or be more cost efficient. That's so important in cosplay because you want to spend that money on your cosplay,
Yeah, a lot of the times, like little like the old little fanny packs, the ones that are just fabric and it has a little tiny zipper on it. Those are all over Goodwill and thrift stores. You can literally just kind of sew them or Velcro them into the inside part of your costume somewhere and just unzip, pull out a card, and zip back up.
If you have a holster for your gun, you can tape a little pocket to the underside of the holster. If you have, look at Sam's gauntlet, she could easily hide some right in there. On this costume, I would probably hide them in my little cuffs or in the top of my boots. It's one of those things where, or even have just a pouch at your back. You want to have a way of having money, ID, phone, and
cards
essential
on you anyway. So whatever you build into that, you can build.
If you put it somewhere where you sweat, though, please put it in a plastic baggie so I don't have to take something soggy from you.
Sweaty business cards, don't do it. But also, talking about building into your costume, I like to build pockets whenever I can. So that's another thing that you can think of. Obviously, for like Amber said, your essentials and stuff that you just need on you all the time, especially phone. It's always handy just slip that in your pocket when someone's taking a picture or something. So anytime you can build a pocket, build all the pockets.
Yeah. Vaughn just mentioned QR codes. Hell yeah, what an easy thing to be able to hide on your cosplay somewhere. Just a QR code, and you can be like, bam, boom.
That's brilliant.
It's brilliant. Yeah.
Wow.
My business card actually has a QR code on the back so that people can just take a picture of it and automatically go to my website. QR codes is one of those things where it's not actually that hard to generate one, and they're very handy. So
yeah, for sure.
My cards, actually, I'm super proud of them because I took a graphic arts class, and one of the things we did was put a QR code in it. So.
Oh, really? Do you have a copy of yours?
Not handy? In this room.
Okay.
I can go grab one if you want.
That's cool. But that that's a really great thing too. You don't even need to put the QR code on cards. Again, you can put it on one thing and people can just use it, put the QR code, and then people can just take pictures of it. That's great.
She has her
there you go.
Look.
That's awesome. I wonder if can I do it now? No,
you know what's funny is the camera's and go. And we're just suddenly at your site.
Yeah. Everyone go to my website right now. Speaking of going back to business card branding, these are specifically cards that I made for cosplay specifically. And they're different from the cards that I have for my props, in part because A, it shows my cosplays, and B, the text is a little different. I do love the QR code. I also always try and leave some space somewhere on the card that I can write something down. Because a lot of times, you have a card and you hand it to somebody and they're like, oh, but I don't know what cosplay you were on. I always try and leave some space on my cards that I could just write Cat Noir or something like that. Because at the end of the day, you can have a stack of business cards. If all the photographer has is this, and I'm dressed like this,
Yeah, so we have another
that
comment too about skin tight costumes. If you're gonna wear a skin tight costume and you want to find somewhere to put your cards, you need to create a bag of some kind that matches your costume, because you are going to need something at the convention. Like Amber mentioned, you're going to need money. You're going to need probably car keys. So I would suggest, even if it's not canon, create a bag that at least matches the character, and you can always set it down. But while taking pictures and then hand out the cards. People don't expect you to be exactly like that character and magically pull things out of the air. You're human. You are not in a cartoon or a comic, so
you don't have hammer
space
space?
that matches would work.
You don't have access to hammer space? Bad.
I mean, I guess if you're really creative and you have enough room in your wigs like I do, because my head's so small, you could create a little pouch and just tuck it up in the back and just pull out a card. I mean, that would be the best magic trick. Hang on a second. What the? What a grandmaster. It's my card.
I do something similar actually in Melina, where I keep the cards in the back of my collar, so I can
That's
just
nice.
be like, whoop.
Whoa.
So we've talked a lot about cards, and that's a great way to kind of brand yourself. What else do you guys do to brand your name, to kind of get out there who you are?
I mean, social media is like one of the hugest ways to do it, and we all know because obviously we're doing it right now. You know, but the thing about social media is consistency. You can make a page, you can make an Instagram, you can do whatever you want, but if you're not posting on it, it's dropping down in people's visibility in their feeds. So that's like the most important thing is consistency with your social media. So,
I think that's a marketing thing more than a branding, but I think it's consistency in how you're posting and what you're posting goes along with the branding, because one of the pros and cons of being a cosplayer is that people are going to kind of judge what you cosplay. Like somebody who follows me for my Twi'lek might see Cat Noir and just be like, nah, whatever, you know, not interested in it. Whereas somebody who follows me for Salem might hop on and be like, wow, there's a lot of Star Wars stuff. That's kind of cool. I like Star Wars too. So a lot of what you need to do as a cosplayer is how do I take kind of these separate cosplays and build a cohesive and unified person behind those cosplays. Because people support cosplayers for one of two main reasons. They either love the character or they love the cosplayer. And so you're either doing a popular character that people love and are really attached to, or, and that's good, that's a way to get people to you, but you keep people by building who you are as a cosplayer, so that then when you do something that they're like, I don't know what that is, I don't care what that is, they can still appreciate it because they appreciate you.
And I think that starts with the name.
Like one of the,
I think that because like we're thinking out big. I'm thinking let's start really tiny. Before you can even brand yourself, you have to have a cosplay name. And I get asked so many times, I'm not even kidding you, I've been messaged so many times personally, how'd you come up with your cosplay name? I'm like, thermo usually means heat, and I live in a desert, and the first product I used was thermoplastics, so ThermoCosplay. And then from there I realized that like, it apparently gave me like this like intimidating factor that was unintentional, but all the characters that I started cosplaying after I named myself were like really like Murr! And until people got to know me, until I could, like you were talking about, until I could fit my personality into my cosplay, and then people were like, oh cool, she's more relaxed, it's fine, we're gonna see stuff up and down every spectrum and be prepared for a roller coaster. There was this period of time where people were intimidated with me, and I'm like, what? So be careful with your name too, and maybe have like a little anecdote or a story.
Yeah. If you're named like Squishy Kitties Cosplay and you do like hardcore gore and
that's cool.
Like
that's cool.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like people are gonna have that moment of, wait, what?
I like that branding actually. I hope somebody takes that idea.
This
so you have to only do like the gore stuff. You can't do cute stuff because then it makes sense. It's not supposed to make sense. Yeah.
So.
But so what, like when we talk about creating a name, like it's one of the most difficult things because like I'm Jinx Cosplay. I've been using Jinx since like 2000 and like actually I've been using it like online since like 1996, and it's obviously not a rare name. You know, there's Jinx, obviously League of Legends is the most popular thing. People think I'm like, oh, are you a Jinx cosplayer? I'm like, no, I'm Jinx Cosplay. So
you predated that, Jinx.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously for me, it's the name I've had for forever. There are other Jinx cosplays out there. I only managed to snag like the Jinx Cosplay handles. But when you're thinking of your name, you want it to be as unique as possible. Obviously, you know, that's going to be difficult. And then something obviously that means something to you. So, you know, and that's the most important. Like Liz, how did you choose your cosplay name?
Ambrose is one of my middle names, and I always really liked it. It makes me think of like Sword and the Stone, King Arthur, Guinevere sort of things. So I don't know. I thought it was unique. I looked it up. Nobody else had it, so I took it.
Yeah, absolutely. So always look them up too and see what it is, you know, what's out there. I mean, there's so many Jinx cosplays, but like that's her middle name, but it sounds really cool. You know, it sounds,
yeah,
it sounds like I would say more regal, like a regal cosplay. And you do a lot of really, princessy stuff. So that's it. And Amber, I mean, yours is similar.
Yep, mine is my first and middle name. So, and it's funny because those who have been fans of mine for a while know that I started out as Firelight Cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
And then about a year or two into it, I switched to just Amber Brite. And we talked a lot about whether or not we wanted to make the transition from cosplay to, from Firelight Cosplay to Amber Brite. And we tossed around things like Firelight Creations and Firelight Props and stuff like that. And you'll notice, if you're watching what I'm doing, I'm kind of slowly branding myself into Amber Brite Props. And that was a very deliberate move that we made because I want, I see myself doing the props for the rest of my life. I don't see myself doing the cosplay for the rest of my life. And I want the props to be kind of my main focus. So we intentionally rebranded to something that would allow that freedom of being more, I'm going to say this is not 100% more than just a cosplayer, if that makes sense.
It gives you longevity because, even 15 years from now, Amber Brite Props will still be, if cosplay for some whatever reason falls off the map, which it won't, Amber Brite Props still makes sense. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
So,
right now it's pretty dead.
Yeah,
Not gonna lie.
Not gonna lie.
Right now it sucks.
And that's another thing is when you're making a name, there might be an inevitable name change, and that's a huge deal. So when you pick your name, if you do plan, or even if you don't plan to make something big out of it, try and take it seriously because one day you might. I started cosplay back in 2001. There was no such thing as famous cosplayers. Even Yaya Han back then, she was pretty well known, but she was not nearly at the stage of fame that she is now. So I don't think that we had thought this was going to be a big thing.
Yeah.
So, definitely try and think about it. If you're going to make a change, if you have a fan base, I would say no. Don't do it. Because it'll be difficult, I think.
I was only at 1,000 fans when I went from Firelight to Amber Brite. And now 3 years later, I still have people go, weren't you Firelight? 3 years. And they're
That's good that they recognize that. Yeah.
Here, I'll just use her to hide it. There we go. There we go.
Oh, that's what's going to be the next thing, huh? Live cosplay accessories. Don't do it. Just kidding, guys. Don't do it. Don't do it.
So after you do your branding and you kind of create you create your name, there's some people like me who I still can't make up my mind about a logo. So I literally just have really fancy text with my name. And until I can make up my mind with my logo, that's all you get. But other people have logos. You'll notice our page, CosTalk Live, has a logo. I literally created that logo in 30 minutes. I could create a live logo, but I can't create my own.
Yeah.
It happens.
And I mean, Amber. Amber has, yours is a nice script with your name. So,
Sure.
It doesn't always have to be words. It doesn't always have to be pictures, but it kind of is what you want people to burn in their memory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, Amber's is her name, and I always want a blue script, and Liz, you have a really cute one with the needle because your primary skill is sewing, right?
I designed that logo myself.
You do what?
Awesome.
I designed that logo too.
That's awesome.
So I designed it, I drew it, and then my sister did it digitally before I took a digital art class.
Nice.
But then when I took a digital art class, I designed a second logo, but I digress. But yeah, I did design that logo and I actually really like it.
That's awesome. It's really cute. Yeah, for sure. And then Sam, you need to jump on the logo train. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Choo-choo. We're going without you. Choo-choo.
Lena, you want to take this one?
We're in marketing step. It's next step forward.
Hey, I'm
Good,
just a
bad,
sidekick.
guys, just so you all know, I've been trained as an artist. I have an animation degree. I've illustrated comic books. I've been hired to do illustrations for medical journals. I am actually an artist, and I can't make my own logo.
Mm-hmm.
I can
Sometimes
make it for
it's worth it
others,
just
but I
to-
can't make my own.
Sometimes it's worth it just to pay somebody else to do it.
Maybe I should.
Yeah.
I'm like, here's me in a nutshell. Just make something.
Yeah.
Lena, you throw
Yeah,
in.
for sure.
Hey, Lena, throw in what you like about yourself. I'll throw in what I like about myself. Go. Maybe.
Nice. Yeah.
I like
Well,
that
and I
Lena
mean that is the alternate to branding. So I'm the weird one out here, which is why I've been a little bit quiet about all this. But
Lena's the master of networking, so when we get
We're all
into
weird.
networking, which we're
Yeah,
about to go
yeah.
into, because when you start, that's the one thing, like, we can roll into it now, too, like, after you've created your name and your logo, and you've probably established a couple social media pages just to make sure you claim your name, then you want to start networking, because people right now are complaining about the reach and most social media pages and websites, and it's because they had to limit it. I mean, obviously the scope of these pages is growing and they're free, so unless you're paying for advertising, you're not going to get as much reach and you're not going to get as much likes or follows. So you really have to network at conventions, and that's where those cards and QR codes and social information comes into play, because you reach out to anyone that seems to at all be piqued by what you are wearing.
And that's where someone like myself comes in. I don't do a lot of the stuff that everybody else here does, as far as branding myself and all that kind of stuff. I really live right off of Sam's stuff, because I just don't have a lot of free time. But that doesn't mean that I can't cosplay and that I can't help build a brand. I just help build Sam's brand rather than trying to make my own. And we find it works pretty well, because when she's at a con and really busy and is trying to take pictures and do all this and that and the other, I'm just sitting there like, have a card, have a card, have a card, have a card. Like, I always joke, but it's true, she does all the hard work like 90% of the time, but at the con, I am her PR representative. Like, you need a card, follow us on social media, like, do the thing. Like, I'm like, make sure you whatever.
Like, so many cosplayers, like beginning cosplayers, are like shy about giving your card out. Like, give your card out. It is okay.
I still don't give my card out. Like,
and listen, I get mad at you because your stuff is amazing and you're allowed. And see, this is one of those things that like kind of steams me, is that people are so quick to shame like cosplayers for the hustle. But like in any other industry, like, you have events like E3 that are literally just networking events, yet somehow like a cosplayer giving her card out at the convention is like shameful or whatever. Like, no, honey, give out your card. Like,
yeah. Well, that's where it works really well that I'm doing it, because then I'm that person, and like Sam looks like the golden child of like, I would never hustle somebody like that, and I'm like, hey, you want a card?
Sam looks sweet until you mess with her, and then
Oh yeah.
But it's a good note too for anybody that wants to get into cosplay but doesn't feel like they have the time to brand themselves, to build the big costumes, to do all the things, but you still are interested in cosplay. Like, find somebody and be their handler. Like, cosplayers always need a handler. You find somebody that wants to make a huge build, and then you just build yourself an easy character that's in that same universe. And it looks so much cooler when there's two people from the same,
well, and a lot of the time,
or whatever.
If you want to help a cosplayer too, that cosplayers can be so thankful that all you really have to do, like Lena, and there are many times where I'm like, Lena, will you join me? If you just buy the materials, I'll make it for you. And I like make it, and I'm like, here's your costume.
She does. She makes all the costumes. Like, she makes so many costumes. Sam just passes out costumes.
Sam's done it for me.
Making
Sam's
it rain.
like, let's do this group, and I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, here, I made your costume already. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm doing it.
You have to now.
I'm not perfect yet, but it's teaching me things.
She's very clever.
Yeah.
So when you're creating that persona, I mean, the persona is like, don't stress out about the persona. Like, it's you. You don't need to like find a character.
Yeah.
You just need to find what you are and how you want to present yourself.
Yeah.
So if you do want to be Squishy Kitty and you do want to do the goth thing, like, that's cool. So that's your persona. But if you're just, like a cool chick, like Sam or Liz or Lena or Amber, I just want to be you know. So, but stick with that. Try not to, you know, and this is, and I'm gonna kind of go into like celebrity talk a little bit. Like obviously we're not actors, we're not stars, whatever, but it's similar. Like when you're in the public eye, people are gonna have this image of you, and you know your followers are gonna love that, and that's why they like you. They like you because you're a cool prop maker, or you know won Best in Show in San Diego Comic-Con. You know, it's like stuff like this. Like, oh wow, she's an expert seamstress, or oh my god, she knows all sorts of different skills, and
I don't know
all
about
these things.
expert.
Well, and that's the thing. We just have
It's
another
a bit of
comment about you don't always have to even be a cosplayer too. You could be a cosplay medic, and people will flock to you.
Yeah, I've seen
They
them
will
like go
flock to
viral.
you, and you will be like the master cosplay medic of Arizona. We're like, this one, go forth.
Oh, for sure, for sure. So I'm just looking at a comment. Vaughn says I've been a handler so many times. I usually go as my cosplay medic.
That's,
because it's
so
easy and
just so
fitting
you
for any
guys know,
cosplayer.
Vaughn is Chris, my brother's friend, the power.
Okay.
armor.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Chris,
Yeah.
Hi.
Chris is
For
awesome.
sure.
The one we stayed at in Tucson. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're meeting
Definitely,
people
like,
for the new, first time.
yeah, for sure. I've seen a lot of like I've seen power armor and like a vault dweller, like kind of like that big build, and or like the big daddy and little sister.
Mhm.
You know, there's always this kind of like if you want to, you know, I mean, or you can just buy your costume. Like you can buy the vault dweller jumpsuits. You can buy little sister. Like if cosplay is anything that you want it to be, you know, it's your rules. You know, there's no like government of cosplay.
Yeah.
No police cosplay.
Anyone who tries to tell anybody else that they're cosplaying wrong, they can go jump off.
They
a
are
cliff
Right.
because-
And like we said, like you don't have to create a persona, but if you get comfortable in cosplaying and you find that you only want to be like, you're like, no, I love Sailor Moon, like I am Usagi,
Yeah.
and you want to be that persona and you want to create every iteration of her outfit, go for it. It's fine. Embrace that character. If that's what makes you happy, that's okay. It's all
Yeah.
We'll
about
make one
figuring out
addendum
what
to
makes you
that.
happy. Huh? Go ahead.
There's
David.
only one cosplay rule that I think is actually true, and that is it is perfectly fine to buy your cosplay. It is not fine to buy your cosplay and lie and say that you made it. That's
Yeah.
the
Absolutely.
only real rule that I actually agree with. I've heard some people say, oh, if you buy it, then you're not a real
I
cosplayer.
didn't
No,
make
I do
this.
not agree with that.
Like I didn't
But
make
don't
this.
lie.
I bought this. It had a lot of problems. I had to tailor the living F out of it. I had to fix it. But I still did not make this whole thing. All I did was tailor it.
And you don't have to come out and straight say, like, I bought this. Just if somebody
Right.
asks you, did you make it?
You
Don't say,
can't say you
yeah,
did.
I made it if you didn't make it.
Right. And
Yeah, I
if
did
you
all
made
these-
parts of it, then be like, well, I made this, this, and this, but I purchased this, or I went to a thrift store and I repurposed something. Like, just, you don't have to go into the thick of it. Just say, no, this is what I did real fast.
Please tell the truth about whether you made stuff or not, because if something's really good, I want to know where you got it so I can buy
Yeah.
it myself.
Yeah. You know, I wanted to just touch on this. I'm sorry, I talk a lot. But I just want to touch on this whole like buying cosplay thing. Like I said, like 15 years ago, we didn't have cosplays to buy, but commissioners, you know, when people started getting more experience, it was almost taboo to buy a commissioned cosplay. And it's taken a while for people to kind of get out of that elitism. Like, well, you're still supporting cosplayers when you're buying commission.
Yeah.
Then when manufactured cosplays came out, it was quite mixed. You know, well, what the heck does that make you, a cosplayer or a model or whatever? But really, it's like cosplay is literally costume play. Nowhere in there says you have to make it. Nowhere in there says you have to buy it. You just wear a costume and you play in it. Like that's literally all it is, you know? So, I mean, if you want to make a persona and you're buying costumes and you never make one, that's fine. Like, don't be like, oh my God, am I a real cosplayer? Like, for me, I kind of had some personal issues with buying cosplays, but that's because I came from an era where it was taboo. So I'm okay with it now. I bought a couple cosplays and it's fun. Buying cosplays is fun. You know, it's like
When it just shows up and you put it on and you're done, like you don't have to be up until 6 a.m. crying and bleeding all over it. You don't have to like sew yourself inside out and like be standing in front of the mirror sobbing, what is going on? It's
What is
nice
my
to get a package and be like, done, let's rock.
packages are
you know?
fun.
I buy
Yeah.
cosplays so that I can limit the work because I've never bought a cosplay and put it on and it worked. I've had to tailor
Yeah.
every costume I buy because I don't have
Yep.
large bosoms and because I have a big butt.
Yeah.
So,
You gotta put down,
I'm tiny and tall, so yeah.
like all this
I
went
don't know
down.
about that. I saw a picture where you had very large bosoms. Like, can you explain?
Wait, who's we talking about? Sam's or Amber's? I got lost. I'm
I
sorry.
was talking about Sam's, but we can talk about Amber's boobs if you want.
I do love my boobs. Like, if we're gonna talk about branding and marketing, like part of my persona is somebody who loves my boobs unapologetically and loves other people's boobs unapologetically. So, you know, your persona, your cosplay person can be whoever the hell you want it to be. Yeah. And I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, like my
I love
persona
Sam's
is
boobs.
similar to Amber's. I love other people's boobs. And while mine are small, I still enjoy them because I can just take the fake big ones off and then I can compress and become male or female. It doesn't matter.
Oh, I wish we could share that picture. You just shared it.
It's on
Let me see if I can
so
find
if you
it.
go to ThermoCosplay on Facebook, our profile picture is people worshiping my fake drag queen boobs.
Oh, this is gonna happen. You
Jen,
can't
I
wait.
just-
Give me
so
like
much
not
fun.
even.
I'm
you
working
can
on
time
it.
me.
But so also I want to touch on that a little bit, but it's going to be a subject for another conversation. You know, it's like if you want to go, you know, the lewd Patreon, like what is it, OnlyFans route, like do it. Like if people tell you something else, like it's your life, you know,
Yeah, their choice.
it's your decision.
Yeah.
You know, don't let people say, oh, you don't want that persona, because if you do, you do. You know.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where I get pushed. So for those of you who don't know, I do the Patreon with the boudoir and lewd, and oh my god, I have so much fun with it. Like it's one of my favorite things ever. And you do get a certain amount of pushback for it, but I think a lot less than you would anticipate, especially in the cosplay scene. Most cosplayers enjoy the crap out of everybody else enjoying the crap out of cosplay. And if your thing is doing a funny boudoir or a sexy boudoir or a fun boudoir, like there's room for that and there's support for that too. And that can be part of your persona. Like if you go to my cosplay page, there's props and dirtiness and oh my god, Lena, that's amazing.
That's the picture.
I'm trying to find it. Oh. It's too bad you can't see the actual cleavage in that picture because it's like bam, it's like there.
It's really aggressive.
It's really aggressive cleavage. And I just want to make one more comment about the lewd thing because I want to save it for another conversation. But like I haven't done it yet. Like I would like to, but in the past I did modeling and I did lingerie modeling and stuff like that. And it is so empowering for women. Yeah. If you've never done it, like do it in the privacy of your own home. Yeah. Like it is so empowering. And I get why so many women do lewd cosplay because it feels so amazing. Yeah. It feels cool to be sexy, you know? So so anyway, we'll touch on that another time because that's a whole nother conversation. Yeah. But yes, please, you know, don't let anyone talk you down.
Yeah.
If you're trying to do it.
Yeah, no, not
unless
at
you're
all.
like, you know, like a politician or something like that. Like maybe you need to
I think the gray area for me is if you build a persona off of cosplaying really young anime characters. Yeah. I don't really want to see you boudoiring or looting up really young anime characters. And
like
you'll notice that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
there are a few. Yeah, there are a few characters I've done that will never have boudoir shots of them. And one of them is Gage from Borderlands because at that time of the game, she was like 14, 15, 16.
I think she's even younger. I think she's like 11.
She's really freaking young. Yeah. Like, obviously, I am not young. So if I were to do boudoir, like, it is not the same as a 12-year-old doing it. But since the character is young, like, that's my... No, thank you. Like,
I agree. Yeah, I agree on that. But yeah, so, you know, your persona, again, like we're just going to summarize it. You don't need a persona, but if you want to build one, you know, stay consistent with it. Yeah. I mean, if you change it, you know, people change over time. So, you know, that's your whole thing. So, I mean, going into branding, yeah,
it's a delicate line because you don't want to build this fake persona, but you also don't need to share everything. Like, I mean, I guess you could if that's your persona, the super real person who shares everything. I personally am not comfortable with that. Like, I recently suffered a death in the family, and I didn't really put it anywhere because, like, that was something I didn't.
So we got an information. Tiny Tina was 12, and Gage was 17.
Okay, 17 is a little bit better, but it's still like She's still too young to do boudoir.
Yeah.
So 12 when she first appeared, is what you said? 12?
No, Tiny Tina.
Tiny Tina.
Oh, Tiny Tina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
So
Sorry.
I'm gonna move us along to make sure we cover ground, and we talked about other cosplayers enjoying your cosplay probably as much as you are, and I want to mention that cosplayers are another great place to go network, right? Because a lot of us travel or we hit different locations or have different interests, and we might be able to pull you in another direction that you never even knew was possible, right? So, I mean,
Sam does that for me.
See,
for sure,
Amber did that for me. Like, Amber mentioned Mass Effect one time, and I saw some of her props, and in my brain I was like, I can mold and cast and make a silicone mask. Let's do it!
And then you pull out Thane. And Thane is like the best thing ever. So I was #win.
It was like
right there.
Yay! So well, and on top of that, you can learn new skills. They might introduce you to additional social media channels that you weren't originally aware of. Like I was never familiar with TikTok. I was on like Tumblr and Reddit a lot, and I was always wondering where these like little videos came from before TikTok actually like improved their logo. And so I was like, where are these videos coming from? And then all of a sudden someone's like, you should do this. And I'm like, this is cool. I'm just a little old lady.
Yeah, I feel the same.
And whenever you're moving on to a new social media platform, reaching out to cosplayers and other people who are successful on that social media platform.
Oh, look, Lena keeps posting my pictures.
I love it.
So that's
marketing. She's your marketing manager. She's doing her job. She's doing her job. Give her a raise.
Yes! Raise.
Yay! I get an extra costume this year.
I mean, yeah, if you want one, I've got, stuff.
Yeah, so branding yourself is similar with persona. Like, even if you're just starting and you're like, oh, I'm not going to do that. Like, you never know. You might end up viral or something and, now I got to manage something. So just at least keep it in the back of your mind. If you're just doing it for fun, just consider that one day you might brand yourself.
Well, like, Liz, you've been in a lot of, like, cosplay groups. How did you get wrangled into all of those?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, think about the performances you've done. You've just, like, how did you network and, like, how did these people find you?
I mean, I just love dressing up with people. But I think that I kind of had the benefit of a lot of the friends that I knew in high school and college were theater people. And so it was really easy for them to transition right into, let's start doing cosplay. So they were kind of like people that I already knew just from school. And then since then, I've met a lot of new people at cons, and we've done groups together. I just love doing groups with people.
Yeah, I never did groups, so I'm sorry, I'm talking again. But I lived overseas and I came back and I met Sam, and Sam's like, let's do this, let's do that.
Wait, we need to slow this down. I interviewed her when she was still living overseas, and then we encountered each other at a con and went, wait a second. Yeah.
And then she stalked me for a little bit, and I was like,
yeah,
are cool. And then it ended up being super cool. So
I was like, Amber, were you at so-and-so park?
Yeah, she like literally messaged
what?
She's like, were you just walking around this park? And I'm like,
You took some time to answer too, and I know you answered straight away because you answered me straight away now.
Yeah.
But before she was like, I think it was like maybe like 8 hours later.
Yeah, I was just like, because I had a girl who like messaged me and she's like, I'm coming by to visit, and I'm like, no, like hard no.
The first
and then I learned that Amber and I lived like a mile apart.
Yeah.
And so Amber and Lena and I did a costume I want to say it was like late 2014, early 2015, something like that. We were like Raven, Jinx, and Starfire, and I messaged Amber and she was like, who the F is this?
Yeah. I was like, I mean, I'm not building that Starfire, but I'll come hang out if you want.
So if you message cosplayers, don't try not to be creepy. Apparently, like the excitement made me creepy. So just be like, hey, I saw this is happening. I was looking to join a group. Would you be interested? Is there a safe place we can meet up? And generally we'll be like, oh, okay. You just want to create together. Sweet.
Yeah. saying yes to that group was one of the best decisions I ever made. Like, I still look back at those photos and I'm just like, oh, beautiful friendship. So,
Oh, that's
like,
cute.
like be open to experiencing things with new cosplayers and new groups, because you'll make friends that you never knew. So,
speaking of that, though, if you don't mind if I pivot off of that point, I think we've all had experiences with people that were a little bit too friendly, if I'm going to use a politically correct way to say it.
Yeah.
What are some things that you guys do when we have people that we are ready to, like I appreciate that you like this, but you can't follow me around the entire con, the entire day?
Yeah. We just had that at KikoriCon. Like, he wasn't as bad. Like, I think he was just lonely.
He was a nice guy.
And he was a nice guy. And thankfully, when we bluntly told him we're going back to our room, we're tired, we've had a long day, he said, okay, cool, I'm going to leave. Now, that doesn't always happen. If they continue to follow you, you need to basically put your foot down and say, I am going to my room, and I do not want you to join me. Please understand that this is us separating for today. And if they continue to bother you, you find security. Because you shouldn't have to basically shove someone away from you. Find security. Go, like if you're at the hotel where we were at, go talk to the front desk and just kind of slide them a note if you're uncomfortable with saying it out loud. And generally they'll help you take care of it. Find con staff. Find security. They're usually wearing different colors. Or even walk up to like a stranger, and if you really, I've done this only once. Walk up to a stranger and be like, can you believe this dude keeps following me? Can you help me out? The other person generally gets so embarrassed that they like walk away.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god! I told you Sam can be. She's sweet, but she can be vicious. I told you guys.
I only had to do that once.
To kind of rope this back into something we were talking about, this is kind of one of those things that, wine service, it's amazing. But this is kind of one of those
Hide
things
the label.
where,
Hide the label.
like,
Yes.
Hide the label. Hide it. Hide the label. Hide it.
No, don't shut
It's
the walking for her beer label. Yeah.
But yeah, this is one of those things where knowing your boundaries for your public persona does come into play, because I personally don't want somebody that I don't know coming up and being like, oh my God, I heard this about your personal life, like blah, blah, blah. Like I'm the type of person who only likes to share things with certain people. Like I just don't like it. I just don't like want to talk about personal matters on a con floor. We had that happen at WonderCon 2 years ago. My dog had just been paralyzed, and we were afraid of like cancer and stuff like that. We'd gone through, and I'd posted about it on my Facebook page, and he was doing well. We went to WonderCon, and like every person is like, oh my God, your dog. And I'm just like by the end of the con, I was like, I can't do that. I can't have these in-depth conversations on the public con floor. And that's my personal boundary. So that's a choice that I make to not talk about those things on my public page. And it's important for you to go into this, like knowing where your boundaries are, because people will assume that you're best friends.
Yeah,
like,
and see,
they will
like I
walk
like
up
this
to
is
you.
why I like having a handler or having a sidekick, as Lena likes to call herself. She's my sister, but whatevs. But anyways, I appreciate it because Lena knows that there are times where I'm competing, or I've run a bunch of panels, or I'm basically mentally and emotionally drained. So my assertiveness is gone. Like my usual like hey, offstandish nature when I feel like I need to be defensive is absent, and she usually takes over and is like, we're going, and she just like grabs my arm and walks off, and like the person's like, oh, we're going, and she's like, no, we're going, and she'll like point to the two of us, and then we go, and I'm like, oh, okay, because my brain wasn't working.
It can be very hard, and especially like in our subculture, you know, the geek and nerd subculture, it can be very hard for confrontation. So I know that this might not be as easy for a lot of people as we're saying, like, I'm going to do this, you're going to go that way. So have people with you. Never go alone.
Yeah.
Like if you can, at least one other person, or if you feel unsafe and you're by yourself, like maybe, you know, just find someone, like talk to con staff, or, you know, there's always going to be someone that will help you. So if you can't do it yourself,
Go to
please
the
find
ticketing
someone.
booth. You know where it is.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, that's something that you don't need to, deal with. If something makes you uncomfortable, please just get yourself out of that situation.
And you will get episodes while you're networking and while you're broadcasting and branding yourself and expanding your reach. You will get individuals who will try to troll you or who will post inappropriate things. Almost every single platform has a settings area for language. Please set it to make sure that any and all inappropriate language is immediately blocked. What I have it set to is if someone says an inappropriate word, it goes into an administrative panel and I decide whether or not it's allowed to be posted. Or I'll go in there and I'll edit it and I'll put like little emojis, because if someone's like, F, that's awesome, and I don't allow the F word on my page, I'll just really quickly like put all the little like letterings and then block, like I'll post the comment but lock it so that individual cannot change it.
It's good to have more than just yourself have access to your cosplay page. Like, it's just good to have and have it be a trusted friend, a partner, somebody else who can have access to your cosplay page, so that, like, God, like a couple of years ago, I had a post that went like semi-viral. It was about gaming as a woman. And of course it was video of female gamers and like the comments that they got in game. So it's literally a compilation of the treatment that women get in game. And it went viral. It had like something like 1 million hits on it or something like that. I recruited like 2 other people to help me keep on top of the comments. And that up until that point, I was very much I'll allow almost anything on my page and give people like a 3 strikes rule, right? Like I'd warn them, et cetera, et cetera. After that experience, if you say anything douchey, you're gone. Like, just period. Because I realized that for my own safety, my own peace of mind. Oh, there's the kitten. There's my black cat.
Spoopy.
Hi, Spoopy. But yeah, so for my own peace of mind, I decided that any sort of comment that made me go, was gone. I'm not gonna be out here for people to like take pot shots and stuff like that. And that was one of those things that I decided early on, that my persona does not tolerate hate.
That's a good thing. You have to establish your boundaries early.
Yeah.
So
we're moving into
real quick. Let's give it. Anybody have any questions? Post them real quick to the chat on YouTube. We'll give you a second to post it. And while that's happening, I'm gonna let Ambrose officially introduce herself because she didn't get to do that.
I asked if you did, and you were like, "Yeah, no problem."
I introduced her, but now we have time, and we need to fill that time while they're posting their questions. So please, proceed.
Okay, well, hi, I'm Ambrose Cosplay, but my name is Liz. This is my very casual Natasha Romanoff look that I have. As you guys can see, a brief tour of the room. We have the head wall back here where I keep the heads of my enemies.
And it's also her guest room when she's not using it.
Yeah, I mean, it's great staying here with the heads watching over you at night.
My favorite.
But yeah, I felt pretty thoroughly introduced. But I can talk for longer if you need me to.
You want to talk about how you do your social media?
What was that?
How I do my social media?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, I kind of actually, I have a person who posts on my social media, just because, I mean, like I have
like Amber was saying, yeah.
I have a full-time job that keeps me pretty busy. So like I have like a person that schedules like posts for me.
All right.
Just because like I would never post during work days if it were up to me alone.
Right,
so I definitely
have a question, guys,
have like a person.
We have what have you found are the most effective social media channels? So let's go through the list of what I can think of right now. So the big one's obviously Facebook, because it's been around the longest, and well, it's not been around the longest, but it's the most prominent. So probably Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr is there, but it's sort of on its way out.
I forgot about Tumblr. Oh my god.
I know, it ebbs and flows. Then there's Reddit. Reddit's actually really big, guys. A lot of people don't realize that.
Reddit can be really good.
Yeah.
People think it's like a troll space, but it can be really, really good.
It depends on which subreddit you're in, because there are a couple of cosplay subreddits that are fantastic and the mods are on top of it and the community is great. And then you get to like the Street Fighter subreddit and it's hot garbage.
So we'll separate forums out separately. Let's just talk about the main things, because there's other forums too. So we'll talk about forums in a second, because those are actually good for networking and branding yourself. But like I'd say Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. I feel like I'm missing
Sam, do you want to
Twitch.
talk about Instructables and how you've gotten a lot of people follow us because of the Instructables you do?
Yeah, so Instructables.com, and that actually leads into forums, so this works. A great place to network, oddly enough, is Instructables.com. I knew about it because I have an animation degree, and at the time, it was an Autodesk run website, and they offered a lot of tutorials on how to do 3D animation and 2D animation and what software was the best and how to use it. And then they opened up their forums to other people to submit tutorials, which was great. So I was like, cool, I'm going to start submitting tutorials. And now I have well over 100,000 views, and it keeps growing every single week. It's crazy. I'm not even trying to promote it. And I've been sponsored because of it by the Warbler Company and Cosplay Supplies, and now I'm sponsored by the Cosplay Pros of Arizona. It's established this really strange networking because people go there, there's no harassment. Like if someone goes there and says something inappropriate, Instructables is usually faster to get rid of the comment than I am.
That's what I love about Instructables is I have one too, although mine's a lot smaller, but they have a be nice policy. Like if you say something that's mean or inappropriate, like it's gone.
And
That's
they
good,
have
because
really great contests too. So if you submit to a contest, your name is posted on that page of the contest forever, until they decide to delete that contest. And even if you don't place, your tutorial still stays on the main page of that contest. So they kind of promote you inadvertently, and their tagging system and their hashes are amazing. So Instructables is a good place to start growing, especially if you want to be like, if you're really big into prop making, if you're really big into anything that's going to be a product that you're providing to somebody else. Because that might be how someone goes, oh my gosh, this is a quality product.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that each social media faucet, first of all, Cosplay Amino, nobody uses that. Second of all,
I know, it was like Cosplay Amino. I forgot about Cosplay Amino.
Yeah.
Nobody uses it. There's like 100 people on it. It's not
Cosplay
like
Amino, like that's, yeah, because I see that. I see Cosplay Amino and Cosplay Goals. Even Cosplay.com, they go through periods of spikes and then they plummet again.
But
let me tell you about cosplay.com. Like that was the only thing we had. I feel like so old when I say this. That was the only thing we had back then, and the forums were bustling. Like now they're so dead, but cosplay.com, we had Cosplay Lab Rats, Cosplay American Cosplay Paradise. Like those were our social medias, and they were just websites. So
I got
as far as
a lot off of DeviantArt.
DeviantArt, actually, I forgot about DeviantArt and Pinterest too. So I want to just talk about a little bit about this. Facebook, apparently Generation Z does not use much of Facebook, which I imagine they're now on TikTok, because TikTok's become this whole crazy thing. So I think TikTok is like really good for cosplay. Instagram is really, really good for cosplay because it's all about aesthetics. So cosplay on Instagram goes really well.
This sounds weird. Twitter?
Yeah?
Yeah, if you take Twitter, because Twitter has a much further reach than any of the other platforms. Twitter hasn't really restricted their reach like other systems, right? So for instance, Fangirl Nation magazine, I write for them, and we have over like 25,000 people, and like we really developed it through our hashtags. The hashtags are way more powerful on Twitter than they are on like any other platform.
But you have to use them wisely. That's the thing with Twitter hashtags. Like Instagram, and this is kind of what I was trying to say, is that each cosplay social or each social media platform has its own pros and cons. Instagram is great for pictures, but most people don't look at comments. So if you're trying to share tutorials or information, it falls apart there.
Or it needs to have text on the picture, right?
Yeah. Twitter is great for meaningful and genuine engagement, but because it is so true to, like, it doesn't push tweets, you have to be very conscientious about when you're posting, who you're posting to, and what the content is. And it's more about commenting on other people's stuff so that then people notice you as opposed to other social media platforms. It's, if you guys are interested, there is a Facebook group. I think it's just cosplay marketing, but we actually talk in depth about each different social media platform. And the long and the short of it is each social media platform can be effective depending on if it suits your style or not.
Yeah.
I never remember to take pictures for tutorials. Instructables would not be as useful for me because I tend to put my head down and here's a pile of foam and suddenly it's cat noir and I took no pictures.
Yeah, see, I have to do photos because there are some tricks that I do that I will forget if I don't record them. So I put all the photos down and then I'm like, how did I do that last time? And then I look at it, I'm like, oh, that's how I did it. Cool. And then I remember.
And you compete a lot too. You compete a lot as well.
I compete a lot as well. So it's just gotten me into a good habit of making sure I have a record of how I created my costumes. So we have a question from, we already said that Cosplay Man was kind of dead. I'm sorry, Ty. On Pins and Needles, aka Maggie, wants to know what our best experience that's come out of utilizing social media. So basically, what social media platform has been our best experience? Let's start with we'll start with Amber because you are our guest.
I met Sam and Lena and Jess and Liz.
People!
Yay, that's the best reason.
People media.
Beyond that, I think one of the coolest things about social media is being able to build conversations and relationships with people who are in different locations. I have one fan that has been kind of with me for forever. His name is Adam, and he's up in Seattle, and he's so genuinely excited about everything, and I got to actually meet him at Emerald City, and it was one of those things where I know this person because of my social media presence, and it's really cool. We wouldn't have known each other otherwise, and we wouldn't have had good conversations otherwise. But because of social media, I was able to meet him and have a great conversation. We take yearly selfies up until this year, of course. So
yeah, no selfies now.
No.
But
what about
actually, someone mentioned earlier about
social media experience.
Who?
You.
Who's
Me?
that?
You're Liz, right?
Oh my. I would say, well, I mean, obviously, I would agree that the friends that you make, but I think one of the things I really like about a social media platform is, there's people, cosplayers that I really admire their work, and it's not like we're friends on Facebook or anything. We're not there yet, but I just I admire the things that they do, and I really like watching their progress on their stuff. So it's kind of a way to see what they're working on without us necessarily having to be Facebook friends or anything like that.
And what about you, Jess?
So for me, so I use, I tried Pinterest, but you gotta be on it with Pinterest, and that just was done. DeviantArt is a little bit, but I've got some people that like belly buttons on DeviantArt, so that was a little bit strange for me. Facebook, I love Facebook because I've been on it for so long, but they've really changed their algorithms, and I cannot figure it out. Yeah. Instagram for me has been the best. Absolutely the best. I've been able to grow so fast on Instagram. Again, because it's aesthetics and cosplay is about photos mostly. Obviously for tutorials and stuff, it's not always as great, but I feel like Instagram is probably one of, if not the best tool, I might be wrong, but one of the best tools for cosplay, because people will just scroll, how many times have you just scrolled and not read the comments, ooh, that cosplay is cool. I follow hashtags for Moana cosplay, Monster High cosplay, and it's awesome to see that stuff, and I feel like that might be the best way to grow a cosplay community. That's just me. I feel like Instagram is probably the best, one of the best.
That makes sense. Sure. And when Lena comes back, we'll ask her too, because she has different perspectives on things than I do, because she's seeing things that are, for the different pair of eyes. But I'm torn between Instructables and Instagram. Instagram, I've actually had a lot of really good discussions and direct messages from people being like, okay, I'm sorry, that photo was dope. how the freak did you make that? And then I go into discussions, or they're like, oh, where did you get that? And how do you use it? And is it safe? So there's stuff around that. But my Instructables are what got me access to materials that other people didn't even get to use until like 3 or 6 months later. So I've tested out like Warbla's Cobra Cast art for the Warbla company, and I've used like Wonderflex World's pro mediums, and it's just, I'd say it's definitely even with Instructables and Instagram. Instructables is really good if you want to build tutorials, and really good for just kind of putting yourself out there as like a cosplay educator, which is kind of what I feel like I am. I'm not a pro cosplayer. I'm more of a cosplay educator. I want to keep people safe.
You're good at that,
I want to
though.
make
You're
their
really
life
good.
easier. Huh?
You are so good at like educating with cosplay. Like you're like pro.
I just like
She
to
does
educate
panels
people.
and everything. Patience, lots of patience.
Yeah. I don't know
But
where
there's
it comes
one thing.
from. But
There's one thing though that I want to mention. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, I just want to talk about TikTok, because we used to think, I know, like, we're, all of us, if you don't know, all of us are kind of like Zennials, which are like between the,
No,
Gen
we're
X and
millennials.
millennials.
We're still millennials. I love
We
it.
are.
We are.
But we're also Zennial. Well, I'm definitely a Zennial, and I think you are too. You know, it depends on like where you were born. Like, I'm kind of more like Gen X, but anyway, TikTok has blown up. You know, as a Gen Xer or you know, a Zennial, I would scroll and be like, what the heck is this TikTok thing? Like, that's how old I am. But TikTok, I think, is growing for cosplay.
Yes.
I think it is a really good tool. We'll have to get somebody. I know somebody that is a TikTok expert.
I'm getting better at it because I've been reading every single blog I can find on it.
Good, yeah.
I just downloaded it.
Yeah, I've had it for a while. I know, Liz, you just downloaded yours.
I did.
Do you have anything on it yet?
Nope.
I have 2 videos, and it's the stuff that we collaborated on, and I'm posting more. I'm trying to post some stuff weekly, and I'm starting to build up a repertoire.
Oh my God, we should show the video. Where is that?
We should show TikTok and on Facebook. But Lena, we wanted to ask you a question. Like, what social media platform do you think is the most like influential or has had best experience for you? Because you have a different set of eyes in this.
Gosh, you know what? I actually, as we were going, if you guys noticed me looking down and having my phone in front of my face, I actually went and just made myself an Instagram for Thermo Sidekick, because Instagram is the #1 place where everybody's like, I want to tag you. And I'm like, just tag ThermoCosplay. They're like, we already tagged ThermoCosplay. We want to tag you. I'm like, but I am part of ThermoCosplay. Like, what do you want
And that's
from me?
another thing too I want to say. If you want to be a duo or a trio or quadruplets, it's fine. You don't have to be one person. I actually know several cosplay groups that are like, it's just one name and there's like a community associated with it.
Oh, hey, I'm the first follower of Thermo Sidekick.
Sidekick. Oh, sorry.
I don't even know.
Gosh.
Here. Haha.
Oh my gosh, it's happening.
And Lena, you know what? That's true, because I always feel like tagging your personal, but I'm like, no, I don't want to mix that for her, you know? So that's cool.
Yeah, and that's why I decided to do it. I was like, Instagram is the #1 place where people are tagging me a lot for cosplay stuff, but I'm like, it's mixing my cosplay stuff with my personal stuff, and I don't mind that much that being mixed. Like,
oh my gosh,
together,
the picture you chose.
You guys have to follow Thermo Sidekick.
Yeah, because I wanted to have something that had me and Sam, because, you know, and then eventually I'm going to try to put some sort of tagline that's like, no, really, go to thermocosplay.com. Do not follow this page. Like, that's not what this is for. But just so I had something I could be tagged.
Can I share this?
Matthew has mission control photography. Because for those of you who don't know, my husband does like all my photography. For the most part, I get the pleasure of working with some other photographers, but for the most part, Matthew does all my photography. And people kept going, what do I tag? What do I tag? He's like, just tag Amber Brite. It's fine. Like, it's all under her. It's fine. And he got so annoyed with people going, but you took the photo that he's like, all right, fine. Here's my Instagram, mission control photography. I think he's posted like a couple of times on it, but like it's literally just.
Wait, there's no photos.
I know. I just made it on this call. Like, as we've been in this, I created that just now.
No. I mean on Matt.
Yes.
Matthew.
Oh.
literally, he made the Instagram so that people would have something to tag. But
look at his tags. Like he's got all the people that tag him. Oh, I just got out of it.
Yeah, it's literally a tag bot is what that's there for. Like, he doesn't care. But like, that's a great example because he does the photography and stuff like that, and he's not. His marketing is through the efforts are all through me. Like the times that we want to do photo shoots or sell prints or something like that, his marketing is underneath the Amber Brite banner, which is again why we switched to Amber Brite instead of Firelight Cosplay, so that we could have more than just cosplay. But it's also because the more different brands that you try and maintain, like each brand is its own little baby. And you got to carry it and swaddle it. And sometimes it's got poop on it. And you're like, what the heck? Where'd you get that poop from? So like long ago, he decided that he didn't want anything out of his photography as far as making money or career or anything like that. So he rolled the branding in underneath Amber Brite. So like, it's just a good example of if you don't want to do anything more with your cosplay or your photography, or stop being bitchy, you're fine. You don't have to.
All right, so we have a question from one of our fans, from Maggie, because she's awesome. She wants, it's a two-part question. Okay. What is your favorite shoot that you've done, and is there a cosplay that you've made that you're like, dang, that's awesome? Who wants to go first?
My favorite shoot. Oh,
go ahead.
Oh my gosh, everyone's excited. Let's go with Liz. Liz has been quiet in the corner.
Oh my god. My favorite shoot that I've done, Bros and Cons, and me and some friends went to the Yuma Sand Dunes to do a Star Wars shoot. That was just like about the coolest thing ever. I've always wanted to do it. And like literally the stars aligned. Like there was one day where all of us were free. And I was like, literally everyone write it down. If you don't write it down and forget, I will kill you. But no, we like pulled it off and we all went and did the pictures and it was awesome. Like it was so much fun. Bros and Cons is amazing. So the pictures look great, of course. Like I don't know what I swear they like put like an ultra beauty filter on like
they're amazing.
And the landscape. But like the pictures look great. It was super cool. I've never seen the sand dunes in real life before. And like they're the perfect Star Wars set.
I'm sharing screen.
You get sand everywhere though. You go home and you're like, how is it up my nose? How?
Oh
how
yeah.
Is it up my nose?
Vic was definitely saying, yeah, that's one of them.
That's
Vic
amazing.
She got a bunch of sand in the wheel of her camera.
Yeah.
Oh no.
The last time I shot at the sand dunes, it literally destroyed all of the foam armor because the sand got in and worked the glue apart.
So,
oh gosh.
Oh my gosh. So what about
another
you,
reason
Jessica?
why?
Since you've got access to photos, Jess, what's your favorite shoot and or cosplay?
You know, people ask me my favorite cosplay all the time, and I don't know.
Okay, then your favorite photo shoot. Your favorite photo shoot. Like, what made you the happiest afterwards?
My favorite photo shoot.
It's like your trigger.
Okay, I think my favorite photo shoot was the Evolutions because that was. So for me, that was the first time I met a lot of those cosplayers and actually got to know you guys. And I feel like that was probably the funnest because I'm into cosplay for like the experience. Like I know people are in it for different reasons and that's totally fine. Like if you're in it to win it, that's cool. If you're in it to model, that's cool. Like I'm in it to have like a good time. I want to see if I can find this picture. A picture of us, but we did 2 photo shoots and they were both pretty fun. The one at Saba was cold though. So I won't lie, like that one was a bit tough, but
yeah, that one was a lot of fun. Because Sabotin was really warm.
Wait, no, I lied. I just saw a picture. This was my favorite photo shoot. Let me pull it up. And I didn't even make this costume. This is like the first costume I bought.
Wait, is it the KDA? That was gonna be my favorite photo shoot. It was the first time I felt sexy in a cosplay because I'm not good at that.
You freaking rocked that our age too. Yeah.
I
look how badass that is. Like
that's my
fun,
natural
but this
butt,
was
guys.
so
I got a
much
long butt.
yeah.
Oh yeah, we were hot as shit, and I don't just mean like sexy. I mean like sweat pouring off of us because it's September and we're wearing pleather.
Like some AC and bat off and keep coming in turns because it was sweating so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the doorway was right there, and it was the only part of the building that was air conditioned. Yeah. Yeah.
It was also the first time I wore stilettos.
No, I won't lie. This is great. I remember this one is amazing.
Yeah.
That was mine too.
Favorite.
My favorite photo shoot. All right, what about you, Lena?
Oh gosh. Well then I'll steal the one that Jessica was almost going to say, because then.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll find a new picture.
But I will, like, real quick shout out to Orange Slice. Doesn't always get us our pictures like super fast, but every time they come back, they are amazing. And I feel like that's partially because me, you know, I am as the thermo sidekick. Like I'm not as deep into cosplay world as a lot of other people, and so I feel like a lot of other people like kind of know their poses, know their points. Like I immediately just snap into 3/4 turn, and I know exactly how I'm going to look in this picture. And I'm not that person. And so I really appreciate anytime I get an experience with a photographer that knows how to and will help me show my best side, make sure I'm in my best pose, make sure I'm in my best position, and make sure I'm like, you know, doing the best thing for the camera. And he usually does a really good job. And so does Amber's husband, I will also say there.
Oh yeah.
Probably my two favorite photographers for exactly that reason, because they'll be like, okay, cheat your hips a little bit more this way. Nope, turn them that way, not quite this way. Like put your head up this way or down, or, you know, that kind of thing. Not every photographer is going to take the time to do that. And the ones that
100%.
do, they are like, instantly, I'm going to give you tips. If you're going to like, I mean, you're giving me tips, so I'm going to give you money tips for doing that for me, because the pictures always come out great. But more than that, the evolutions, exactly for the reasons Jessica said. I'm into cosplay.
It's in the cosplay plan, Jess.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to find it. Wait, hold on.
I'm partially into cosplay because I enjoy it, but what's kept me in cosplay is all the awesome people that I've met as a result of that. And we had, what was that, 9 people in that group?
I think so, yeah.
It is amazing that we took a con as big as Sabo and we had 9 people and we managed to get everybody from point A to point B to point C.
Yeah.
All of us to like,
we like
that
chain, we like had hand chains. We like
all the credit for it. But that day was just so much fun because I love every single person that was in that group.
Okay, this is from Sabo, but this is the Evolutions group. Yeah, so we even had people kind of fill in here and there.
Sorry, I
said Sabo. Sabo was the first time we did it. This photo is by King Cart Photography. So this was a lot of fun. It was cold that day.
Yeah,
it was. It was in January.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are Sunset Dragon designs. I love this group, and I hope, you know, we can reconvene at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think everyone had fun making their. I don't know. I speak for everybody. I don't know. I had fun making my costume. But yeah, there's Lena. Look at her. No thermo sidekick there.
The prouder of my cosplay costumes as well. I think that's another reason that I love that group, is because a lot of times I'm so busy and I don't feel like I have a lot of time for cosplay. And so a lot of times I feel like I'm like the B movie, you know, like there's the A movie that everybody comes for. And then I'm like the B movie that's like, oh, I'm just part of the group. But like this costume, I'm like, you nailed it. You know, like I was.
Yeah, you look great in that one.
All right, Amber, it's your turn.
Help me, but I got it. So.
Okay, I have a serious one and then I have a troll one. So what do you want first?
Surprises.
Yeah, you surprise us.
Okay, so we'll start with troll one.
That was a surprise.
So a little bit of backstory. One of the first cosplays I did was Cammy from Street Fighter, right? And I loved doing Cammy. I loved being Cammy. However, every single time I wore Cammy, I got a shit comment about my body. Every single time. Too skinny, she needs to eat a sandwich, etc., etc.
Please be the troll one I think it is, please.
It is. So I was like, you know what? Like, if they're going to comment on my body, if they're going to have judgment about who and what I do, we're going to give them something to really love. So my skinny white girl ass cosplayed Zangief, the giant muscle man with a chest hair bra and
It's like
beauty
on her
makeup.
page. Go to her page. It's on her page.
Like, capitalize on it, man. Like, why not? Okay, I guess I'm the screen sharer. Keep talking. I'll look.
There's a bunch in my tagged. If you go to my Instagram and go to my tagged, he's in there. We haven't done an actual photo shoot with him, but
where'd you wear it to?
LA
Comic-Con. Yeah.
I think. Yeah. So it's one of those like cosplays that one of the best parts of it is everyone else's reaction to it. And on its own, I love wearing it because like I feel so salty and so powerful in my salt. Like,
oh man,
look at my level of trollness and look what it has wrought upon the world. And just walking through the convention, the best thing ever was watching people's faces as they're like,
what?
That Zangief. Oh my God, that's Zangief. Oh my God, that's Zangief.
Oh, here I found it.
Look, there. I had the full beauty makeup. I had a beard. I had the whole
Oh, you got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I had trouble finding. I'm not sober, guys. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Not pictured is the fact that I had the shin hair and everything. Like, so this cosplay was my ultimate love letter to the Street Fighter community, at least the toxic part of it. And it remains kind of my, like 5 years ago, I never would have done something like that. Like I would never have had the balls to do something like that. And I look at it and look how far I've come that I walked around all day in a fucking chest hair bra.
That is amazing.
And
that is like complete like self-awareness. Like you are on it. Like I love this.
Yeah.
It's the best.
I love it so much too. Like, but it's one of those things that I had a guy who came up to me and he's like, wow, you must be super confident to wear that. And I look at him and I go, I got big balls. And then he like got really weird and like walked away. So I don't know what he was expecting, but I don't think he was expecting me to be like, yeah, look at my giant ass balls. But
yeah, the trolls want you to respond in a certain way, and you certainly didn't.
yeah. No, it's like, no, I know what I'm wearing and I'm having fun. So that one for me, because I've always been kind of shy and ashamed of my body and how I look. And when I first started the whole cosplay thing, I was very anti-sexy cosplay because that's kind of the brain thing that had been put in, thank you culture for making us ashamed of our own bodies. So like, I love to look at that now and be like, yes, I did that. But yeah, so that's my troll answer. My serious answer is, and I like that we have a view of Jess's chair again. Apparently the
it's
chair
so lonely.
Right?
It's so lonely.
My serious answer is, some of you might remember Grant, the photographer, Grant Vermey.
Mm.
One of so he was an amazing photographer here in Arizona. He did pass away. We miss him terribly. He was such a sweetheart. I loved him so much. But he caught some pictures of my Twi'lek outside of, I think, the Mesa Convention Center. And I remember getting those pictures back and just like holding my phone so tightly because I couldn't believe I looked that way. Like I couldn't believe I looked that good. And I think that was one of the first times that I felt really good about my cosplay and really good about what I created and what I made.
That's awesome. So I'll make this fast because we need to start kind of wrapping up for the night. But I already told you what my favorite shoot was. It was the KDA because, like I said, it's the first time I ever felt sexy, and that's really hard for me to do. I have body image issues. I've had them my whole life because I have metabolism issues. So I war with myself constantly, and that's okay. Just keep on the upbeat, and I try to be positive. But as far as my favorite costume, that's 100% right now Yojimbo. I hate putting that thing on. There's so many damn layers, but it's my favorite costume.
Yeah. Well, you put a lot of work into it, and it's so personalized too, like, which is really amazing. And that's one of my favorite things about cosplay. And going back, circling way back to branding and marketing, like one of the things that I love about cosplay is you can have a design that somebody makes and then have interpretations of it. You know, if you put 10 Harley Quinns all next to each other, they're going to look different in subtle ways. And I mean, Jimbo, you just like fucking nailed every part of it. Like,
I love that character, and I love that I literally carry around a money bag at cons as my purse because he's greedy.
So good.
Yeah, but all right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start wrapping it up. Real quick, we want to thank Brite Props for being a guest with us this evening. Want to thank Ambrose Cosplay, Jinx Cosplay, ThermoCosplay, Thermo Sidekick. Check out her new Instagram.
No, really don't. I'm not planning on putting anything on there.
Just made it for whatever.
Yeah,
don't make me do work,
wonderful
please.
talking to all of you. I know that there's a slight delay, so I'm going to give you 1 second to post something, and that's it, and we'll have a quick answer for you. Real quick, let's start going by with where people can reach you and how they can find you. Let's go with Liz, since you're in the bottom corner.
On Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Instructables, all of it is Ambrose_cosplay, except for Facebook, no underscore.
All right, Jess?
Yeah, I don't think we touched on it, but when you do find your name, try and get your handle in every single like social media, because I did not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I am the Jinx Cosplay on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and then I am also on Twitch at JinxNet and YouTube on JinxNet. So that's where you can find me.
All right.
And I also my website jinxcosplay.com.
Amber?
I am Amber Brite Props on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Pretty sure I'm just Amber Brite on Twitch, but amberbriteprops.com is my website. I am on TikTok. I don't remember what I put on TikTok. I'm probably Amber Brite, but mostly I'm active on Instagram and yeah, mostly Instagram.
I'm Lena and I. Well, Lena's Thermo Sidekick on Instagram now. But Lena and I are ThermoCosplay on pretty much everything. Instructables, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, cosplaygoals.com, the RPF forum. It keeps going. So if you just go to thermocosplay.com, you'll find us. Thank you all for watching our stream. We will post well, actually, we already did post the completed link, but what the heck, I'll post it again. And thank you for sticking with us, even though YouTube kicked us off because we either showed a label or we said something.
Because y'all are lushes, that's why.
We're too good. They were jealous.
I mean, they're just angry. All right, guys. This is all of us saying good night, goodbye, and thank you for watching.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching.
Bye.
Bye.